My name is Dr. Brynn Winegard. My research is in brain science and how it will affect you in the world and in your business, in your work life. What I'm going to do today is walk you through some of the neat facts about the brain. How many of you have heard this myth that we only use 10% of our brains? Have you heard that? Yeah. No, 100% active, that whole kilogram and a half, and it's active 24/7. It never shuts off. Even when you get to sleep, it doesn't. In fact, if I listen to your brain right now, the synaptic things that are happening, all the little electrical impulses, it would sound like crickets. If I put you to sleep, your brain comes alive. It's like a thunderstorm of crackling and lightning. So your brain is actually more active when you're sleeping than when you're awake. Sleep is so critical for you. Your brain, every calorie you put in your mouth and every time you breathe oxygen through your nostrils is using 40% of those calories and 40% of that oxygen. Absolutely every time you have a new stimulus or you learn something new or something new happens to you in your environment, like me to you right now, you're putting down neurons for that effect. Okay, it's called the Jennifer Aniston effect. You have a neuron for Jennifer Aniston. The challenge with that is that you end up with neurons for things you shouldn't like, right? Maybe illicit drugs, gambling, alcohol. You end up with more neurons the more you do something. This is the seat of all addiction. One of the brain myths out there is that multitasking exists. It doesn't. Science says that the brain only does one thing at a time that you are aware of. Multitasking is a fallacy. But older brains know that and don't even try to multitask, whereas younger brains try. And that's actually something we call code switching because they're just going back and forth. Women are much more prone to doing this. And of course, we just frustrate ourselves. We're not more productive in doing it. Here are some things you can do to ensure your brain health. Work, and you're not surprised to hear this, makes your brain healthier. Stress that used to be a performance aid when we were younger becomes toxic. So in older people, the brain responds to stress much worse than it did when we were younger. So we have to stay physically active, right? Those will make those hormones pump out, the feel-good hormones, right? Endorphins. Staying physically active will help your brain also develop its own muscle. We have to eat right. It gets harder, first of all, because we want the salt, fat, and the sugar, but it also gets harder for our gut to extract nutrients for us. So it's that much more important to eat better as we get older. It also helps manage stress, and it helps us be more brain active. Focusing on physical health, we forget about how important brain health is. Really, it starts with the brain, not with the body, but you have to maintain them both. And keep trying new things, push yourself outside that comfort zone, your brain gets healthier. It's uncomfortable and frustrating to do it. Try learning a new language right now. It's stressful, it's uncomfortable, but it's really good for your brain. The more we have cognitive stimulation like that we try new things, that we try to learn, the more that we have what we call emotional stability, which will decrease your chances of stroke, of illness, dementia, Alzheimer's, and then of course the worst ones, the ones that we all struggle with at some point, depression and anxiety. Stay social. I know we prefer to have smaller groups when we get older, but staying social is so good for our brain. We are naturally very social people. And so staying social, meeting new people, shaking new hands, joining a new group, those are very critical things to do. And then do things that allow for societal contribution. That's going to activate those feel-good hormones, just like running a marathon, those endorphins. That will actually make your brain a healthier one and make you feel happier. Most illness is caused by stress, and all stress is processed by the brain. So a healthy brain will thwart stress and therefore illness. You can come and chat to me if you like. I really appreciate being here. Thank you very much for your time.